to you guys in understanding what it really takes to get a partner visa granted and the types of relationship facts that you might want to aim for. So the purpose of this video is to show you a relationship timeline, and we'll do a few of these videos so that you get a feel for them. The timeline of a couple that were recently granted an Australian partner visa. So what I'll do is I'll work through the relationship timeline, their history, and we'll also compare their processing time. How long did the application take to process? Because that can be extremely variable. Sometimes they can be quite fast and sometimes they can take quite a while. It really depends on many factors. So let's get straight into it. So this is what you're looking at the moment is just our partner visa approvals booklet. It contains examples of all our partner visa approvals. I'll just skip to the actual page that I want to focus on. So this is a partner visa that was granted on the 27th of October, and it was a subclass 820. Like I said, the applicant held a Brazilian passport. The processing time for this application was 19.5 months. So quite a while, right? Almost 2 years for this one to be finalized, which is often due to delays with things relating to medicals or police clearances. It's not generally due to many other factors. I find that processing times, especially if it's going to take this long, is typically because there's a delay in getting a particular document to the government. I would say on average, onshore partner visas at the moment are being processed in anywhere from 6 to 12 months. Anything beyond that suggests that there's probably a complication somewhere in getting a particular document from that person. So let's jump into the actual timeline of the relationship. Now, at the time that this partner visa was submitted, this couple were in a civil union relationship, meaning they registered their relationship as a civil union in one of the Australian states or territories other than WA and Northern Territory. So any other state, you can register your relationship as a civil union. And if you're applying for an onshore partner visa as a de facto couple, that's advisable for many reasons. The main one being that it removes the 12-month rule from the assessment of your relationship, meaning you don't need to demonstrate that you were in a de facto relationship 12 months prior to applying. You just need to demonstrate you're in a de facto relationship then when you apply. So that was the status of the relationship at the time of applying. Now, this couple initially met in June 2020. Now let's work backwards. This application was submitted in March 2021. Okay, application submitted in March 2021. Let's work backwards from there. The couple met online in June 2020. So met in June 2020, applied in March 2021. So really had only known each other for 9 months or so prior to lodgment. And you can see at the bottom of this timeline, we've summarized some key dates. So we've calculated that the couple met approximately 9 months prior to lodgment. That's what we've summarized there in this timeline. They met in person. So they met online in June 2020. Then they met in person in the middle of June. So met early June online and then met in person in the middle, 16th of June 2020. Went on a holiday not long after, about a month and a half after. Then started living together on the 24th of October 2020. Okay, so started cohabitating October 2020, which is about 6 months prior, roughly, to lodgment, give or take. Okay, so started living together late October and then applied early March, just under, let's say, 5 months or so, cohabitation. Because that's a common concern or common question that I get is, how long do we need to have lived together for prior to applying in order to prove we're de facto when we apply? Now, like this couple, if you're in a civil union relationship, there isn't a minimum period of time per se, but they do look at that. They will look at how long you have lived together for, how long you have pulled your finances together for, to determine if you were de facto when the visa was applied for. So, in this example, this couple, only lived together for about 5 months prior to lodgment, and eventually was still granted their partner visa. So just keep that in mind. Open up joint accounts in November 2020. Okay, so again, partner visa submitted March 2021. Joint accounts open in November 2020. So about 4 months prior to lodgment. They organized wills where they listed each other's beneficiaries. They obtained their joint lease in March 2021, just prior to lodgment. Okay, so obtained lease in March 2021 and then applied for the partner visa a week later. All right. However, they had been living together prior to that. So based on this timeline, I'm going to say that they had lived together maybe at one of their houses, which is very normal, very common evolution in a couple's facts where they meet. One person moves into the others. Often they have a lease already, or they're living with friends. They move in together, but then they don't get their own place like this, a joint lease until a bit later. In this case, it was, just prior to submitting the application in March 2021. They engaged our services to prepare this application in February 2021, and then we submitted in March. So, we submitted this quite quickly, very likely because the visa was expiring. Very typical for a lot of student visas, particularly to expire on the 15th of March. And that's very likely why this application was submitted on the 11th of March. I don't have those details here, but that's going to be my interpretation and my assumption. Interestingly, this couple registered their civil union after lodgment. Okay, so application was submitted in March 2021, but their civil union happened after, in April 2021, which does indicate and bring, worth discussing that you don't need to necessarily have registered the relationship prior to lodgement in order to waive the 12-month rule. It is something you can do post-lodgement. It's still going to waive the 12-month rule. However, ideally, we would always encourage couples to register their relationships prior to lodgement so that it is considered as part of your time of application facts. Okay, so when you apply for the partner visa, you've done as much as possible prior to lodgement. That's the rule of thumb. That's what you want to try to do. This couple perhaps didn't have time, weren't able to register in time prior to lodgement, maybe had actually applied to register prior to lodgement, but didn't get the actual certificate until after, April, which happens all the time as well. Nominated each other as their beneficiaries in 2021. Don't have a specific date there, but sometime prior to lodgement. And that was, I suppose, their core relationship milestones prior to the partner visa being applied for. And you can see, they met 9 months prior to applying, started cohabitating about 4 or 5 months prior to applying, started pooling their finances, i.e. joint accounts, about 4 months prior to applying, joined lease 6 days prior to lodgement, had organized wills about a month prior, and were in a civil union 1 month after. Okay, 1 month after lodgement, they had their civil union in place. If I were to assess this couple's timeline, comparing theirs to a lot of other couples that we work with and have spoken to, if there is a spectrum of strength, very strong, middle, and weak, I would very likely put these guys somewhere in the middle to the weak end of that spectrum because of the length of their relationship prior to application, the length of their cohabitation, the length of their financial pooling, and the fact they didn't have a civil union prior to lodgement. I mean, on paper, these guys present weaker than other couples that we work with. But despite this, you can see that they were still granted. And that doesn't mean that if you have weak facts, you're going to be approved necessarily. We're just trying to give you these timelines so that you can get an idea of what weak really looks like and what strong looks like, and whether or not it's worth taking the gamble, worth taking that risk. In terms of the lodgement timeline, so that was their relationship timeline. Now it's the lodgement timeline. Like I said, application lodged in March 2021. We received an RFI, a request for information, a couple of months later. Right, June 2021, a request for information was received, which means that the application was ready to be finalized, but there were things that were requested. Again, I'm going to say likely they were requested police clearances or medicals, and there were delays in getting those documents, particularly in that time. We were still dealing with COVID. There was still administrative issues in trying to get certain documents from overseas at that time, which likely affected how quickly it was finalized. Okay, and eventually, about a year or so after that, the application was eventually finalized, but it likely could have been finalized prior to that. And that's a lesson for people that might be looking to self-prepare their applications, is if you can get police clearances in advance and organize your medicals quickly after lodgement, you might save this processing delay. You might be able to get it finalized quicker. And like I said, it's likely that this was unavoidable for this case. We had to apply quickly because the visa was expiring, and that happens all the time. Sometimes we can't apply decision ready. We have to apply quickly because visa deadlines are approaching, knowing that we'll be able to get documents post-lodgement. But that can have flow-on effect in how long it takes for the application to be finalized, as shown here, as shown with this timeline. And there's the visa approval, 27th of October, 2022, for anyone that would like proof of this being an authentic and legitimate approval. So guys, that's a quick kind of walkthrough, an example of a couple that was successful in obtaining their partner visa. Of course, this is an example of one that we've handled via our full representation. For those that are interested, we have two ways that we can help couples with their partner visas. Either we can coach them, teach them how to prepare applications like this using our visa software and coaching package. There's more information on our website. Or, of course, we do offer our full representation for couples that would like the peace of mind of our legal team handling the entire process for them, like these guys. That's it from me, guys. Just a quick video walking you through an approval, a relationship history, and a processing timeline for you to get an idea of what it takes to get partner visas granted and comparing your facts against others. And hopefully you might learn a few things along the way and what you might be able to do to strengthen your facts before you apply for the partner visa. If you'd like to know more about how to get partner visas granted, in this group, there is the Partner Visa Secrets course. It's a free partner visa course exclusively available to people in this group. There'll be a link to the modules in this post. Please go do watch that training. You might guarantee you're going to learn a lot, and it's definitely worth your time. That's it from me, Martin. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.